My name is Ariel, and this is Christina, and we're going to be doing our project, well, my project, recordingly. And so today's topic for this project is relationship dialectics theory, which is basically saying that when you're in a relationship, sometimes both partners want two different things, but they clash with each other. So you can either have one or the other, but if you want both, you're going to have like this crisis. They're called tensions, and there are three of them that we're going to be talking about: the closeness and openness tension, autonomy and connection tension, along with novelty and predictability tension. So the first one, closeness and openness, means that one partner or the other partner or both partners in the relationship want either to have just that single partner that they're already in with, or they feel like they need to have multiple partners. So what it is basically if you have this one person, so the relationship's just starting out, or maybe it's in the middle, or even towards the end of the relationship, like if the relationship's not doing that well, sometimes that person will feel like they want to stay true because they don't want to cheat, like they're not that kind of personality. Or if it really is that bad, or maybe too early in the relationship where they're still kind of new to being in a relationship, they're going to feel like they want someone else, or they want to be with someone else, especially, they're just going by looks. So, an example. Do you have an example of this tension? Do you know anybody that maybe has been in this situation?
Yes, I do. I know someone who she wasn't really happy with her relationship, but she still wanted it, and then wanted to also be in an open relationship with somebody else.
See, there you go. How did it work out? Or how is it working out if it's current?
It's not working out too well.
A lot of arguing?
Yes.
Okay. So, as you can see, it doesn't work out. I mean, it's called the tension for that reason. How can it be prevented? Well, according to the book, page 236, there are 3 ways you could prevent any of these tensions. So I'll just mention them quickly now. You can either accept the imbalance, which is what it is because it's two opposite, what would we call it? Two opposite desires that you want. And they're going to clash because they're opposites. So you can either accept the imbalance, which doesn't really work out because then there'll still be arguing in the relationship. You can either exit the relationship, which is, I guess, what most people do. Or you can rebalance your life, like you take a break kind of thing, and then you could go back at it, or figure out how to communicate with the partner and tell them how you feel, which is not what a lot of people do to begin with. So how can we make this a healthy balance, this, openness and closeness?
I feel that if you want the closeness and openness, then to make it a healthy balance, you both shouldn't be together. Like the relationship should just be no more. Then you both can do your own thing.
That's right. That's true. So like, I don't know. If they both want an open relationship, but they at the same time want close, then that means they're not meant for each other. They're meant for someone else, I guess.
Because they're both seeking other things.
Okay. So the next question is how do you prevent this? Which we kind of touched upon it with the 3 points I mentioned. And what Christina said is basically they're not meant for each other. So that would be exiting the relationship. The two people are just not meant to be together, for the most part. So what that does is it eases the power destruction, which I guess in a way the destruction is going to happen because the relationship is broken now. They're not with each other anymore. But if they're happy about it, then it's not really destruction. So it destroys the power of the tension itself. So exiting the relationship is actually going to work. So, and you gave a personal example already with your friend. So the next one, autonomy and connection. What this means is that if you're in a relationship, or if you're thinking about going into one, or if you're just starting out, or maybe you've been in one for a very long time, sometimes, no matter what part of the spectrum you're on, you're going to feel like you want to be independent, which is what autonomy means, or you're going to want to be together, or intimate, or like you want to go to the next step, and that's what connection is. So how is it attention? It's because you want both. You want to be independent, but you still want that relationship, but you need to have a balance, and sometimes these tensions go to one extreme or to the other. How do you prevent it? Sometimes you just need to talk to your partner. You need to let them know, I need my space. That's when you need to rebalance yourself, as the third one says. What this is that, sometimes you need to just take a step back. You're still with the person, but you need to let your partner know that, I need a break from you. I need to be able to hang out with my friends, or maybe it's vice versa, or both of you feel that way. That's probably the biggest way you can solve this issue. And that'll probably be the healthiest way as well. So yeah, I'm not in a relationship, so you're going to be my example girl. She's going to be your example girl.
Well, I think with that, it's when you're in a relationship, you have to have a balance that you hang out with your friends, have a social life, and have social interaction, and then you can spend time with the boyfriend, but you shouldn't always be spending time 24/7. You should make time to be sociable and be with your friends and not be antisocial, and then just you both be together every single time, because then you're going to drive each other nuts, and then that could also lead to you both being apart or wanting to separate, or one will always want to grab on and hold on to them, but then the other one will feel suffocated. That's not good either in a relationship.
Right. Okay, so this one you can't really prevent, because everyone, when you start off, you are independent, or rather, you're by yourself. You're not in a relationship per se. So even when you are in a relationship, you still have that memory of, oh, when I was single, and everyone likes that time of when you were single, because you're able to do stuff, you're independent, you don't feel like you're attached and you have no freedom. So when you're in this situation, it's not so much as preventing it, but you could find that balance, like Christine said, you find that balance where you can hang out with your friends. I feel like it's more of a communication where you have to let your partner know, look, I need a break, let me hang out with my friends. That's the only way you're going to ease it and kind of stop any further destruction. Because maybe it is a good relationship and you don't want it to end, so this tension can destroy the relationship. What it is, you just kind of need a break, a little vacation. Girls' night out, boys' night out, that kind of thing. Okay, so the third tension in this theory is novelty and predictability. So what novelty is something new. It is something fresh in the relationship. Nothing's ever the same. Like, there's mysteries, surprises. So that means predictability is just what it says it is. It's predictable. It's the same old stuff, boring. You can map out whatever happens. So that it's kind of like what was that movie you were saying?
Oh,
or the show.
The reference I made was to Full House.
Oh yeah, Full House.
Her husband, after being married to him for so many years, he became predictable. She knew what he was eating, when he would get up to eat it, what he would do when he was mad, and yeah, because she learned these habits, but not because she did it to annoy him. She did it because she loved him.
Right.
Because she learned what his habits were. And he got mad that he was so predictable, but she said the only reason why I know this stuff is because I love you so much. So in that term, it's good to have someone that you know that loves you, that they're paying attention to these details, instead of someone who doesn't pay attention and they don't really know you that well.
Right. So that's kind of what that means. You know, it's sometimes it's a good thing because or it's allowed because the partner doesn't want, you know, the person that they're in a relationship to feel bad. It's just, you know, out of habit now. And sometimes they're okay with it. They don't want anything fresh or new, or, you know. Sometimes they're not okay. That's how it becomes a tension. I feel like page 230, when they're talking about relationship license, it's permission to break a rule. So in the relationship, so maybe you have that relationship where you can map out every detail of your partner's life, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's not okay, especially if you guys are like feeling bored, I guess, with your life. So if you talk with your partner, you know, you can, I guess, fix it by creating a license. Like, okay, maybe you could do this and I could do that, something new, something different. I feel like that's how you can also prevent the tension. If it's the same old stuff, sometimes you have to actually kind of just accept the imbalance if you really care for the person and if it doesn't really bother you so much. That's probably the best way to do it, because unless it's really bothering you, which will be more of an annoyance than a problem, you really shouldn't end the relationship or exit the relationship, especially if it's working out. There's not much you could do to rebalance it. It just is what the person, how the person is. Like what Christina said, it's now a habit that they have. It's hard to break a habit. You know, the best example was the Full House example that she gave. That's the only way I feel like that can work, and that's what that tension is. Page 228 actually has a table, table 9.2, and it talks about how you can fix some of these tensions. One of them is communication. Actually, it talks about the problems in the relationship, but if you know the problem, you can find the solution for the most part. And I feel like most of these tensions are a result to poor communication. So, which is what the class is about, you know, communicating. So if you talk with your partner, you could really solve the issues at hand, especially if the person is open to hear what you have to say. You also have to, for the first one especially, for the closeness and openness, meaning what we were talking about before, if you're kind of in that middle stage, if you don't know if you want to stay with that person, you want to try new people, which kind of sounds bad anyway. I mean, you know, if you care for the person, just stay with the person, you know, why find new people? But it happens, unfortunately, and that's Saints Table 9.2, page 228. It's mentioned here as third-party relationships. So it's when you have, I guess, you know, like it says, third party or the third wheel. You know, maybe you're in a group, you have like a close-knit group of, it's one girl and two guys, and one of the couples, you could take them off. You know, the girl cares for the person, but then she also cares for her other friend, the other guy friend, or something like that. You know, she's kind of like in that middle stage, and that can be a problem, not just for the relationship, but for the friendships within that group. And it's all about communication. You know, maybe she wasn't ready. Maybe she was just in that first stage of building the relationship, the connection, and she didn't realize that maybe this person's not meant to be in a relationship with. He's just a good friend. You know, it's supposed to stay that way. And it all goes back to understanding who your partner is, talking with that person, and solving the problem.